Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how it was a lesson, not a life sentence. And what I mean by that is that sometimes when we go through things in life, when we get hurt, when we feel betrayed, when something happens to us that just really shakes our world and shakes our perception of people and of ourselves, sometimes I feel like we can take those lessons or those experiences that have happened and we can turn it into a life sentence. And what I mean by that is that we turn it into a reason to be distrustful of others. We turn it into a reason to be closed off. We turn it into a reason to not want to go out and not want to meet people and not want to do certain things. And trust me when I say I totally get that. Like, I've had experiences before where I literally would lay on a couch for 8 months straight, sleeping 20 hours a day, not wanting to be conscious, not wanting to be alive, waiting for something to come take me out or waiting for something to just literally end my life. And I know that that sounds really intense, but I'm just saying that as an example because I understand what it feels like to go through something that is just really like earth shattering or to go through something that you didn't expect to go through. And I understand what it feels like to think, wow, my life is never going to be the same. I'm never going to be able to trust somebody. I'm never going to be able to love somebody. I'm never going to be able to do X, Y, and Z because this thing happened to me, right? And there are many reasons why we feel that way. I don't even want to get into that, but I more so want to get into the idea or the perspective shift that the things that happen to us and that the things that we experience and that we go through are meant to be lessons. They're not meant to be life sentences, right? We're not meant to carry around the grief and the anger and the resentment for the rest of our lives due to something that happened to us 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, however many years ago it was. Because if you allow that to affect you in that way, you're going to live a very narrow and a very dark life. And trust me, I know, again, because I've done it. I've had experiences, like I said, where I just allowed it to, cause me to curl up into a ball and to just sit in darkness and to not want to be around anybody, not want to experience anything, not want to laugh, not want to love, just none of that, right? And it's honestly not a good feeling. And at some point or another, you're going to come back to recognizing that that way of life is not really sustainable and it's not really logical either. Like, no matter what people say and no matter how many, ways people try to say, oh, I don't need anybody and I don't need help and I'm a lone wolf and I can do things on my own, you still do need people. You still do need connection. It doesn't matter if it's platonic, if it's romantic, if it's a friendship, if it's a stranger, just having a conversation with a stranger, but you do need people and you have to open yourself up. Even when you have been hurt, even when you have been knocked down, you have to still take the lesson, right? And then open yourself up to those experiences and have faith that it's not going to be the same, right? That you're not going to keep getting betrayed constantly, that it's not going to end in the same way. And a lot of the times, there's actually a reel that I watched from this woman. Her name is Coach Val on Instagram. And she talked about expansion fear. And she said, when you are trying something new or when you're putting yourself back out there, after not doing so for a long time, you're going to experience expansion fear. And that's when your nervous system or your mind is going to tell you that you're in danger or tell you that you shouldn't do anything, tell you to go and sit back in that dark room and don't let anybody in because it's scared. And the solution to that is to take actionable steps to show yourself and your nervous system and to prove to yourself that you are safe and that you are okay. And I have to tell myself this, I'm not even joking, like multiple times per day. Like, I will catch myself kind of in a disaster mode a little bit. I'll catch myself thinking of things that I shouldn't be thinking about. I'll catch myself identifying with parts of myself that I thought that I let go. And now that I've put it into the framework of, your body and your nervous system is just trying to go back to what's familiar in order to feel safe, I feel a lot better in knowing that it's not just me. I'm not just crazy, or I'm not just consistently fighting to get back to a place that I tried so hard to leave. You know what I'm saying? So I literally tell myself, I'll tap my heart and I'll just say, you are safe, you're okay. Like, you're going to be successful, you're going to make it. And it sounds so silly at first. And I was not doing this like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, but I'm realizing and recognizing how important it is, because if you don't do this, you will continue to put yourself in that feeling and in that energy of survivor mode and in that energy of everybody's out to get me and I can't trust anyone and I can't do anything. And that is when lessons or things that have happened to you turn into life sentences, right? And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be in my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I don't want to feel this way anymore. Like, I want to let these things go. I don't want to carry around certain things from childhood or certain things from my young adulthood in a way that makes me think that people who are actually trying to help me are trying to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to do that anymore. And again, I know that we all go through certain things, and I know that we each have our own timeline in terms of like healing and understanding and gaining new perspective. But if you feel like you're stuck, or if you feel like you're caught in that constant cycle, it just means that you need to tell yourself that you're safe, and that you need to tell yourself it's okay as you take steps forward, right? You can't just stand still in the same place, right? If you don't have any new experiences to compare to the old ones, then of course you're going to keep feeling the same way. Of course you're going to keep running into the same problems and the same issues, because that energy is cycling over and over and over within you without a healthy place to be released, or without having something else to compare it to. So I know that it's scary. I know that it's nerve-wracking, and I know that it's going to be really hard at first, but I'm finding that I'm connecting with a lot more individuals, and I'm forgiving myself a lot easier too, because I'm simply willing to put myself out there despite the negative thoughts, despite the fear, despite the worry, despite all of these things, because that's really the only thing that you can do to move forward. So again, I wanted to make this video because I know it relates to me, but I know that a lot of people can relate to it as well. Please, you guys, like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to hear your experiences about it. I would just love to hear, your thoughts on it, your thoughts on the lessons that you've learned, or even if you have an experience where, when it happened or shortly after it happened, you were just like so upset, but now that you're a few years or a few months or however long removed from it, you're able to see the experience for what it was and able to take what you need from it and release and let go of the rest. I would love to hear about it. Honestly, I love having conversations in my comments. I love talking with you guys. So definitely definitely let me know. And remember, a lesson is not a life sentence. Like you always have the choice to change. You always have the ability to change. Like, pick up a journal, pick up a book, meditate, do something for yourself, within yourself, and for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the times it's easy to pick up our phones or to go on our laptops or to watch the TV and watch the movies and to try to distract ourselves from these feelings, but these feelings are trying to tell you something, right? And depending on what it's trying to tell you, it's either trying to get you to learn the lesson or trying to get you to release the experience so that you can figure out something new, so that you can go do something new and become a new person, or become the person that you've always known that you can be. Okay, so yeah, that's all that I wanted to talk about. I don't want to yap on here too much, but definitely let me know, you guys, what you think about the video. Let me know about your experiences, and I will see you guys at the next one. Bye.